there, it's Molly with Design Loves Detail, and today I'm going to give you an exterior tour of the front of our home. Can't wait to show you. All right, so this home is one that we just finished about a year ago, and I'm finally ready to share because we got the landscaping, we got our planters installed here, which are so cool. This was a recent addition, so maybe we'll start with those. These are actually a stone sink. I shared a reel on this over on Instagram, and they're a marble, so I think it's marble, and they already had the hole drilled, which was perfect because we had the plumbing pipe that needed to go in them for the drip system, so we don't have to water these, and they are doing great, which is awesome. They've been in a few weeks. I love those. We did do the walls, which I adore. This was a unique thing for this home. I'd never done them anyways, where they're the plaster walls with a capstone, just in like a concrete. So I love how it turned out. I feel like this kind of softened up the look a little bit because it is pretty modern, but I love the idea of these types of plaster walls kind of giving some differentiation to the spaces. It kind of gives a stately feel to the home, which I love. It just is so pretty. Every time we drive up, I'm just like, it's gorgeous. So that's fun. Anyways, you'll see the gravel pathway that leads up here, and then we have the pavers that are kind of in a natural tone. I wanted something with a little bit of warmth to it, so they're kind of like a beigey tan, and I love that they have the variation in the shape and size. In here is kind of a courtyard area that we made, so this is at the front of our home, and we have this kind of this is almost like the less formal entry. This is goes into our mudroom area. So I love that because it gives a place, you know, for kids to change shoes or whatever out here on the benches. And then it's actually, I'm not one of those people that gets really uptight that everyone has to go to the front formal entry. So I don't mind it that sometimes people go to that door instead. I think you can tell this is like the main entry, but it's easier to get to that one. And so sometimes it is where people come in. So there's that. Over here is a sitting area that we made, and I really want to add probably like a dining table and chairs on this open part. I haven't found one that I like adore yet, but I'm working on that because I think it'd be nice to have for kind of more for the mornings. It is a little bit sunny here in the afternoons, but I think that could be a really nice like little breakfast spot with the beautiful views of the mountains and everything. So this sitting area though, we'll look at this. This is one of my favorite outdoor sofas that I found, and you can actually get it with the chaise piece, so you could make it more of a sectional and kind of adjust the shape. So if you wanted it to be bigger and curve around or whatever, they do have a lot of options. So that was a Wayfair find that I will link for you. And the coffee table is kind of funky. I just wanted something a little different, and it honestly kind of looks like a chunk of stone that's white, you know, white. So maybe like an iceberg, maybe that's what it looks like. But I love the quirkiness, and it is an outdoor table, so that has done well out here. We've had this one for over a year now, or around a year, I guess. And these trees, I get a lot of questions on the trees that are kind of flanking the sofa. These are a limelight hydrangea tree, and they're so pretty because they bloom with those white blossoms in, I think, June or July, something like that. And then in the fall, I love them the most in the fall because they get like a pinkish greenish flower on them. I think that's why they get the name Limelight. It is so beautiful. It kind of looks like vintage, like a vintage flower. I don't even know how to explain it any better, but those have been such a nice addition. I had one of them break in the winter because the snow was so heavy. So that one's a new one, but this one I've had since last year. So we'll see how they do. I'll try and post that as they bloom because they just are so, so beautiful. You'll see the natural stone here. I did kind of a mix of the stucco and the stone for this home to have that kind of little bit of an Italian or Mediterranean European flair. And this, of course, you'll see is overgratted. It's actually a manufactured stone. So this is like a concrete type product, but when you overgrat it, it looks pretty much like a natural stone, which I love. And it is from Harris Stone. The color name is Colonial White, which it's actually not that white, it's more gray tones. But I did mix in, when I did mine, I had them add in more gray. So they can do that when it's a mix, they can just pull some of the a little more of the darker stones if you want, because I wanted to have a little bit of variation with darker tones too. So Colonial White is the name of that, and they have a couple different shapes and stuff that you can look at. But I have loved that, and I loved the price of it. It saved us a ton of money from doing natural stone. Of course, I love natural stone, but I feel like when you can get the look and no one knows this isn't natural stone, like why wouldn't you save a ton of money? I think it was something like almost like half the price of the natural stone that I wanted. So that was a big victory for me. On this table, just while I'm thinking about it, these are some stems that I got from Michael's that are a faux rosemary. And I love these. You'll see these kind of floating around. They're really more an interior one, but sometimes I'll bring them out here if it's not gonna rain. They have some really good faux stems at Michael's if you're on the lookout. And then these chairs are the ones that I got from TJ Maxx. I think I shared them in a recent TJ Maxx haul, but I wanted to show them styled because I think that you can get the way better grasp for how they look and I think how high end they feel. I love that this tone, part of what drew me to them is that they have this interesting rope detail mixed with the wood, and that the tones tie in so well with this sofa that I had, because they're kind of, it's almost like a gray brown, and that's kind of a unique find. It's not too brown, but just nice and earthy. So I really love that. Some of you will probably ask me about the planters too, and those are vintage ones. I'm gonna link a site that sells similar ones to what my hydrangea trees are in, so that you can kind of see some options. It's of course hard to find the exact ones, but they have a ton of similar options. And I think that for large planters like that, it's kind of an investment to get the vintage ones, but they're those types that will just last forever. So I love them, and I love the scale. I think finding large planters is so challenging sometimes. These are from the same company, so they're a vintage antique find, as well as that stone trough there, which might turn into some type of a water feature. Right now it's just kind of a random trough, but I do love the look of it. So we'll hop over here to the porch area. And most of this is, whew, hair's getting crazy. Most of this is Boxwoods. I like that Boxwoods have kind of that, a little bit of a traditional feel to them. Sometimes they are a little bit finicky with, I think this is Winter Gem Boxwood, and they've done okay, but I know I've heard sometimes Boxwood are hard to keep alive. These have been okay so far. This is another one of the planters I was showing you. We have the two here in the entry that really, I think, just set apart this front door. So I love the way it looks coming up here to the front porch. And I'll link the patio lights for you. Those are one of my favorites. I love the scale of those two. It's so hard to find big enough. I would have gone even bigger, but this was the largest size they had if I could have found one size bigger. But they are actually pretty big. You can kind of see with my height how big they are, but these columns are just so oversized that they need a big light. So I wish they had a larger one. But here's our arch door. This is a custom one, and this is painted in Sherwin-Williams paved stone. That's what all of my doors and windows are. And then the stucco color I had matched to Sherwin-Williams, a new gray. Oh, I think I said Benjamin Moore paved stone. I think it's actually Sherwin-Williams paved stone. I think both of those are Sherwin-Williams colors. Somebody can check me on that. But then I just did these cute chairs up by the front door. Again, really, really fun detail. Oh, look, this is my injury. You guys, I fell off a wall in the back. I shared a reel on that too. It hurt really bad. I didn't fall all the way to the ground, but I fell off one level onto another, and yeah, I hit the wall on the way down. So have some bruises and some scrapes, but you know, it's okay. We were getting the backyard ready for you, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, back to my tour. These are another TJ Maxx find, this little side table. I love because they're just kind of small. They can tuck in anywhere with enough space to put your drink on, and they have such good prices on their outdoor stuff. If you're looking for outdoor furniture, definitely check TJ Maxx and Marshall's both, because it kind of rotates what they have, but all of the prices are hard to beat. I got these chairs, I think from Rulala, and they have some really cool stuff as well. Again, it's kind of like a discount type site, and so it's hit and miss what they have, but when they have, it's like, you know, if you go to Nordstrom Rack or something, like sometimes you just find the gem. That's kind of how they are. So I'll link again everything that I can find down in that description below. And anyway, I think that kind of covers it. That shows the front yard, and then we'll, in a couple weeks, as soon as I can get some stuff finished up for the backyard, I'll give you a tour of that as well. I'll kind of show you, I guess, maybe how this connects, and then we'll pick up, you know, when we get to the backyard tour. Over here, just curves a gravel pathway around to the back, and then kind of brings you over to the side of the house where the primary suite is. We've got a hot tub back there and some fun stuff that I cannot wait to show you. So definitely stay tuned for that. And let me know if you guys have questions that I might have missed on this front yard tour and exterior. Oh, you might ask about here's one. You might ask about the beams. I had to do a custom mix stain. It's like I think it was like a walnut and something else that I mixed. Those are a Douglas fir beam. And then I just did kind of a grayed down rich brown, but I had to do a custom mix. So I unfortunately don't have an exact color name for you, but that was kind of what we went with. We took a deep rich brown and grayed it down to make it kind of like a softer. So it's like a rich tone, but it still doesn't feel too saturated, which I love. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the outside tour of our home, and I will see you next week with another video. Oh, like and subscribe, please and thank you, and leave a comment.